Hello and a very warm welcome to this channel. My name is Marlene and today we're talking about maternity protection in Germany. If you are pregnant or you're planning to become pregnant, this topic will probably be very interesting for you. Generally, I can say that you're very well protected if you're pregnant in Germany. If you're an employee, you do not have to tell your employer that you're pregnant. You can do it whenever you want, but there's no deadline until when you have to tell your employer. But it's important to know that as soon as you tell your employer, you have special employee protection rights. That means that your contract cannot be terminated unless in very, very exceptional circumstances, but generally you're protected from termination. When you tell your employer that you're pregnant, your employer has to check if your job place is safe for pregnant women. That means you cannot work any over hours, you're not allowed to work after 8 p.m., no night shifts. You have to have a safe job, so that means you shouldn't work with any chemicals or any dangerous substances, for example. So your employer has to make sure that your place of work is safe for pregnant women. If it's not safe, your employer has to change your place of work. If you have a healthy pregnancy, there's usually no need to stop working earlier. You can work until your maternity protection is going to start if you're feeling well and there's no danger for you or the baby. However, in certain circumstances, you might be asked by your doctor to stay at home already quite early. It's the case, for example, if you have a risk pregnancy and there's a danger to you or to your baby, then your doctor can give you an employment ban. This employment ban is a document that you have to hand in to your employer, and it means that from that moment onwards, that you're either not allowed to work at all or you're only allowed to work certain hours. For example, it could be that they say it's not safe to work more than 6 hours per day, then they will give you a partial employment ban. But if it's not safe for you or the baby to work at all, then they will give you a full employment ban. You don't have to worry about your finances during that time. You're still going to receive full salary. Your employer is going to pay you and your employer will be reimbursed by the health insurance. So there's definitely no worry on the financial side. You're going to be safe there and you can really focus on yourself and the baby. If you have a healthy pregnancy and everything is going well, you're still entitled to maternity protection. Maternity protection starts 6 weeks before your scheduled date of birth and ends 8 weeks after the birth. So let's say the birth date is on the 1st of April, then 6 weeks before the 1st of April, you're going to stop working. In order to make sure that your employer knows about that, you're going to receive a document from your doctor which says this is the scheduled birth date. This document you're going to hand in to your employer so that they know when you don't have to go to work anymore. And you also need to complete this document with your banking details. Then you will send this document to your health insurance, and your health insurance is going to pay some of your salary during your maternity protection, and the rest of the salary is going to be paid by your employer. So it's important to know that during those 6 weeks before birth and 8 weeks after birth, you're going to be paid fully. Your salary during the maternity protection is going to be your average salary that you've had in the 3 months prior to starting the maternity leave. Like I said earlier, you're going to receive the majority of that salary from your employer, and your employer is going to be reimbursed completely by the health insurance, and you will receive 13 euros per day from your health insurance. There's going to be one payment prior to the birth, and then once the baby is there, you will have to send a birth certificate to your health insurance, and then your health insurance is going to send you the payment for the following 8 weeks after birth. Now, what's going to happen if your baby doesn't come on the scheduled birth date? As most babies don't. If your baby is coming in the first 6 weeks, so basically before the calculated birth date, you're continuing to have the whole maternity protection until 8 weeks after the expected birth dates. So let's say your baby was born on the 21st of March instead of the scheduled 1st of April, you're still going to get the 8 weeks paid after the 1st of April. So you're not going to lose any money here. But what happens if your baby comes a little bit later? If your baby, let's say, is born on the 7th of April, you're going to be paid for another 8 weeks following the 7th of April. So in total, you will be paid an additional week than the 14 weeks you have normally. If you're going to have twins or triplets or even more children at the same time, you're going to be entitled to more maternity protection than the 6 + 8 weeks that I've talked about earlier. Also, if your baby's born very early, you will also be entitled to more maternity protection. It depends a little bit exactly on your individual case, but just take away this information that if your baby is born very early, or if you have twins or more children, you're going to be entitled to more maternity protection around the birth. Now, the question I sometimes get asked is, do I really have to stop working during this maternity protection, or am I still allowed to do some work? Now, that depends. The 6 weeks before birth, you're still allowed to work if you really want to. Your employer is not allowed to ask you to come to the office or to work, but if you say, I really, really want to work, you are allowed to do that. But nobody is allowed to ask you that, or nobody is allowed to force you that. So you're absolutely entitled to not work during those 6 weeks. But the 8 weeks after birth are really meant for you to recover from the birth. It's been a very stressful time. Your body needs time to heal. You need to connect with your baby. So those 8 weeks after birth, you are absolutely not allowed to work. Your employer is not allowed to terminate the employment relationship with you once you have told them that you're pregnant. It doesn't matter if you're still in your probation period or if you've been working at the company already for a really long time, you are definitely going to be protected. There are only very exceptional circumstances when it is allowed to terminate an employment relationship during pregnancy. It's very rare. I wouldn't worry about it. It would mean that the company has to be completely bankrupt, for example, and there are no more employees in this company. And even then, it's going to be difficult for your employer to do that. So don't worry about it. You can tell your employer and you will be protected. Now, once your baby is born, you're going to need a birth certificate. In most hospitals in Germany, you can already make that administrative process quite easily. There's someone you can register your baby with. Or alternatively, if this is not possible, it's usually quite easy to do it online. There's a form that the hospital is going to give you. You can complete it online or in person, and then you will get the birth certificate sent to your home. This birth certificate is going to be really, really important because in Germany, we love documents and we love bureaucracy. So yeah, you will need that birth certificate basically for anything baby related that you want to request. For example, you will need it for the second payment of your health insurance during your maternity protection. You will need it for the Elterngeld, so if you are going to plan to stay home longer or your partner will stay home longer, you want to request parental leave and parental benefits, you will need the birth certificate for that. If you want to request Kindergeld, which is 219 euros currently that you will get for your first and your second child, and if you have more children it's slightly higher, you will also need the birth certificate to request that. Or later, if you want to send your child to daycare, you will also need the birth certificate to request the Kita voucher, which you will need in order to secure your child a daycare spot. So this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. I'm going to make another video in the next couple of weeks about parental leave, which is an extra state benefit that you can apply for and that you can use to spend more time with your children. So if you're interested, please watch this video as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please do so. It will make sure that you'll never miss any more videos and you will support me very much. You can also click like if you like this video and give it a thumbs up. And otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday with the next video. Bye bye.